Welcome back to County Connection. For this next segment, we're going to be talking about protecting your home from wildfire and how Summit County is going to help you do it. And here to help us out is Dan Schroeder from CSU Extension. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you, Julie.
All right, so the chipping program is upon us. So for folks who don't know, this is its fourth year, but for anybody out there who might not have heard of this program, tell us what it is.
The chipping program is really driven by wildfire prevention. So we had a big epidemic, disturbance in the forest, and then we were left with a number of standing dead trees, as in whole hillsides.
Right.
So then
pine beetles.
Pine beetle, and so then we wonder, well, what is this changing forest? Reminded us that wildfire lives here too, and for us to be proactive about removing flammable vegetation from around our community. So this wildfire prevention program ultimately leads to a curbside chipping opportunity for landowners, homeowners, that people who trim their branches and do a little bit of sweat equity contribution to the program, put this material curbside, our crews are going to come through and take it away.
All right, so if, for folks who remove some of that flammable vegetation from right around their home to reduce that risk of wildfire, if you pull it down and set it out by the curb, we'll chip it and haul it away.
That's the line.
All right. So tell us a little bit about what is defensible space. There's some science behind this, some radii that people should be aware of. What's the quick definition?
The quick definition, defensible space is a matter of pushing flammable vegetation away from your home. So the radii are drawn out that from the eave of your house, you want to go 30 feet out, and that's zone 1. And we typically talk about 3 zones. Zone 1 is remove all flammable vegetation, unless it's irrigated, unless it's maintained, where it'd be mowed and kept low to the ground. And this isn't a matter of nuking the 30 feet around your home, but being very deliberate about what plantings are there and how much moisture content they contain. So from 30 feet out to about 100 feet, 70 more feet, we call that zone 2, and that's where we would want to see vegetation in clusters, kind of a park-like atmosphere where the canopy is broken so that if fire were to creep towards a building, a structure, your home, it would have less material to hang on to, and its progress towards your home would be limited.
Right, so there's not a continuous path of trees and shrubs for flames to kind of leap from one to the next.
Right. We often talk on the vertical plane about ladders and flame can move up, but horizontal plane is also an issue, so we're breaking fuel continuity.
All right. How exactly is the chipping program organized? So we've got a pretty big county with from folks all the way from Hoosier Pass up to Heaney. So tell us how the program is laid out in a timeline.
Sounds good. So we begin the last Monday of June. So really, all the snow should be melted, and we have 2 crews running concurrently, one starting at Hoosier Pass to the south, and one starting in Frisco Copper, sort of in that middle range of the county. And we march over the next 7 weeks north. So if you're in the south end of the county, Hoosier Pass being the starting point, then we head to Blue River, and then we head into southern Breckenridge, moving north through the county. Concurrently, the other crew not only hit Frisco, but then jumps over towards Keystone, Montezuma, and marches north through Silverthorne on towards Heaney. It takes 7 weeks for us to cover the entire county, and then we're going to come back and do a second turn. This is a static schedule, so people can't call and RSVP a specific pickup on a specific day. Rather, we ask people, go to our website, look at the schedule, verify when we're going to be in their neighborhood, and have their material ready for when we arrive.
All right, and so every single neighborhood in Summit County has a designated chipping week in the first part of the summer and the second part of the summer on the second lap.
That's it, exactly.
And so what is the important date and time so people find their neighborhood's designated chipping week, and then what do they need to do?
So the most important thing to do is have your wood out by 8 a.m. Monday morning. A lot of people might think of a trash company and their day is Tuesday or Monday. Let's keep it Monday. And you have your trash can out on Monday and they come on Monday. Here's where our program deviates a little bit. We have a huge county to cover. We just have the one crew going the entire service area section in that week. And so the main thing is you have to have your wood out on Monday by 8 a.m. in case the crew is at your house first. But there's a possibility the crew won't be able to get to your house until a couple of days down the week. The main thing is we can't have people putting wood out behind us as in we already drove down your road. We're not really making extra laps back because you were late. So the important part is people would have the piles stacked neatly next to the road with the fat ends facing the road. This is easier for the crew to pick up and run through the chipping machine.
So fat ends of the branches.
Of the branches themselves. And if you can imagine a human being, yourself for instance, trying to pick up this pile and load it into the chipper, that's why we want it to be a neat pile. So if it's a big rat's nest, that really isn't going to work for us, nor would it work for the person putting it out. So we're asking for a little due diligence. You put in your effort and we'll take it away for free, but then also it's a matter of everyone wins when everyone does it right.
Right. So in order for these crews to work their way efficiently through the neighborhood, they really need some nice orderly piles where they can just buzz it right through the chipper and move on to the next stop.
Efficiency. We're really looking to move through neighborhoods quickly because there's a heck of a lot of territory to cover.
All right. So let's talk about the materials that that you accept in the chipping program.
Sure. So the chipping program is really trees, tree branches, the stem of the tree or the log part of it. We're taking wood. So there are a lot of things that can burn, and this is where some people could get confused. But we're really not taking any weeds or just landscape clippings. We really don't want to see people raking their yard and putting out the forest floor detritus.
Okay.
This is a big piece of industrial machinery that wants to chew wood, logs and branches. And if you just put in like a pile of dirt, which you called needles and teeny little branches, it's effectively a pile of dirt, and that just doesn't bode well for the machinery, nor is it a fire hazard. We're not really interested in the inch or so of duff on the forest floor. The heavier fuels are what we're looking for.
Okay, so tree trunks, branches, and what's the maximum diameter of an actual tree trunk?
9 inches is what we're talking about. The majority of our forest is lodgepole. Most of those trees aren't getting larger than 9 inches, especially the sickly ones, the ones that you would probably prefer to clear off your land anyway. That's the number.
Okay. So let's see. This is as we talked about, the 4th year that this program has been in effect, and it has been a tremendous success so far. So can you tell us what the participation levels have been in the past? Absolutely.
So we have 3 years worth of metrics. We've been tracking this program all along just to verify whether or not we're meeting the objective of clearing flammable vegetation. Is it in a contiguous manner throughout communities? And when we look at our maps of households that have participated, we see that adjacent parcels are indeed putting wood out, clearing flammable vegetation. So it's really a great thing for communities as a whole. And in general, over the last 3 years, we've collected almost 17,000 slash piles.
Wow.
I think that's remarkable.
I agree.
And that translates almost 1-to-1 for the amount of chips produced. And so the program has produced 16,180 cubic yards of woody biomass, of chips. And the cool thing about this program is it's really aligned to not only remove this vegetation, but put the end product, the woody biomass, to a beneficial use. So we've partnered very closely with Climax Mine, just outside of Copper Mountain on your way towards Leadville. There's a big mining operation there, and they need wood chips for their biosolids program, which is effectively using this vegetative material to help with mine waste reclamation. So over time, they continue to need chips. We have a local outlet to send the chips to a beneficial use.
Excellent.
I'd say the last metric that's super important is over 5,000 individual parcels. This is landowners, homeowners, households have put wood out.
Excellent.
And I guess lastly, Colorado State University, they like to see whether or not people are doing new good things in their communities. And so my thought is that people have heard our messages, shared it with their neighbors, made sure people around them are aware of it, internalized this idea of wildfire and us living in the forest, and then acted on it. And that action is really the best part of this whole program.
Definitely. And we've seen lots of action, so that is great. Excellent. So lastly, Dan, for people to get detailed lists of all of the dates that the crews are going to be in each neighborhood, as well as the guidelines, what's accepted, what isn't accepted, all the details on how to make the pile correctly, where can people go to get that information?
People have got to go to the Summit County government website. And this is summitcountyco.gov/chipping.
Excellent. And all the information you could need, as well as some links to how to create defensible space.
That's it. We have, and the brochure, really, I'm holding this page here. This is what you're looking for. This is going to give you all the information. But when you do go to summitcountyco.gov/chipping, you'll also see a breakdown of weeks, of subdivisions by week, so you can really zoom in on where you live and exactly when we'll be where. Lastly, my phone number is there. My contact information is there. So if people wanted to speak to me about the program, they're more than welcome to do so by email or phone.
Okay, perfect. And just as a warning for those neighborhoods that are coming up first on the schedule, who should be thinking about breaking out their chainsaws right now?
Yeah, Frisco Copper is who we hit first, and that's June. I'm going to make sure here. It's June 26th. That Monday is when we kick it off. Frisco Copper. And then on the way south end of the county is what we call Quandary Turtle Estates.
Okay.
So really the way south end.
All right. So they should get ready. Well, Dan, thanks so much for coming by, and cheers to another great season of the Summit County Chipping Program.
2017 is going to be a great program.
All right, I have no doubts about that. All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll talk about Bike to Work Day.